Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. FPL Consult here, and in today's video we have my Game Week 24 team selection. The assistant manager chip is active for me and I'll share more about it as we go along into the Game Week 24 section. But for now, as always, we'll start off with a quick review of Game Week 23. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you do, please do drop a like. And also, if you haven't already, can I ask a very small favor from you, because we are very close to 11,000 subscribers. We're actually 20 subscribers away. So if you could help me out, please scroll down a little bit and hit the subscribe button to help the channel hit this incredible achievement. If by the time you're watching we have already gotten there, then thank you very much for all of the support and helping the channel hit this milestone. Alright, so as always, we'll review Game Week 23, and very quickly, I got a small red arrow from 47k in the world to 59k, and it's simply because I scored less than the overall game week average. I only scored 58 points, and to be honest, Game Week 23 was a week where a lot of the players that I felt were going to return did not return. They were differentials for me, and I did feel like they would kind of do well in Game Week 23, but they didn't. So Verbruggen against Everton, obviously, the Iliman Njai penalty was the reason why he conceded, but honestly, the way it happened, that handball by Veltman, it was pretty comical. On another day, maybe Verbruggen keeps a clean sheet and it's a goalless draw against Brighton and Everton. Same for Lewis Hall, because pretty much Newcastle started the game 1-0 down against Southampton. Bednarek with that header, and that's pretty much wiping out the clean sheet from Hall. After that, they came back 3-1. So if they kept a clean sheet, if these two players, Verbruggen and Lewis Hall, kept a clean sheet, I think I would be on either a grey arrow or a small green arrow, which would have been very helpful. But if I look at the rest of my team and also where I'm at in terms of future transfers, I'm actually happy with the current state. So again, I'll speak more about it as we go into 24, but just for 23, Trent and Gabriel with a clean sheet and Trent with an assist. In midfield, Mbumo and Salah both with returns, 1 goal each. Palmer and Rogers blanking. Rogers had a goal disallowed because of offside. Even the draw against West Ham, I felt Aston Villa were going to win that game, but just throughout the second half, especially after Tyrone Mings got injured, they really struggled there. So Rogers, 1 point in Game Week 23. Palmer also blanking against City. And up front, Vissa and Mateta blank, but Isak with 13 points. I'm actually not too fussed about Vissa and Mateta blanking, because honestly, they looked pretty sharp in that game, even though they didn't get anything. Vissa and Mateta were quite clearly the most threatening attacking players for their respective sides. So I'm happy enough to still have them. On the bench, it's Ahmad and Robinson. Now, Ahmad had a goal disallowed in 90th minute. Had that goal went in, maybe I'd be a little bit more disappointed that I benched him. Robinson with a 2-pointer as well, because Fulham didn't keep a clean sheet. But for Game Week 23 overall, this is how I did. Drop it in the comments below how you got on for Game Week 23. And let's have a look now at my Game Week 24 team. So for Game Week 24, this is how my team looks like. The assistant manager chip is active and it is on RNA slot for this double game week. Now I'll speak a little bit about the assistant manager chip and why I have chosen to activate it. Now the main reason, if you've been watching the past few videos that I've uploaded on the channel, I think the biggest reason so far is that I don't want to be in a spot later down the line where I have to carve out 1.5 million, whether it's on a wild card or if it's using free transfers to just downgrade a player to free up 1.5 million. I'm kind of gambling on the fact that that would cause people who are using the chip in game weeks, 30 and beyond to have to account for that and just basically maneuver their transfers or their funds in that way. So right now, I'm gambling on the fact that later down the line will cause them quite a bit of trouble, and that's why getting it out of the way now in 24 is the better play. Right now, when I look at my team, I don't really have to spend transfers on my outfielders. I'm pretty happy to roll most weeks, so I can choose to be very aggressive with the assistant manager chip if I want to. I can use free transfers on slot. In Game Week 25, I can move him to someone like a Marco Silva if I want to play table bonus. In 26, I could also move to someone like Arteta if I want to play safe, or I could go Ipswich, Kieran McKenna against Spurs in 26 as well. There are table bonus fixtures that I'm eyeing up. In terms of the fixture matchup for Liverpool as well, it's also a case where I don't think it's straightforward wins, because Bournemouth and Everton away is not technically the best double game week. But that said, I still back Liverpool to win these two games. They are still a side that are playing at a very high level, so I definitely still expect them to win, but I can't be certain who's going to score. Is Cody Gakpo going to get the full minutes? He just played in the Champions League. He played 50 minutes against PSV. How many minutes he's going to get now? In terms of defense, if I go for a third Liverpool asset in a defender, are they going to keep clean sheets against Bournemouth, who are firing really well, and the Merseyside derby against Everton at Goodison Park? So basically, I back the win, but it's hard to predict which other players are going to get the points. So that's why I buy into the manager, I get the team. So that's mainly why I've gone assistant manager slot. By all means, I've seen people go assistant manager David Moyes and try to go aggressive with the chip. By all means, that is a perfectly fine strategy as well. I've just tended to go safer a little bit and go for slot here. Also with the gameweek 25 fixture in mind, where I can save a transfer, I can hold it on slot and get Wolves in gameweek 25 if I choose not to, go aggressive and just want to play safe for 25. So that's a bit of assistant manager talk and why I've chosen to activate the chip. Aside from that, if I look at the 15 players that I have, all my outfielders, in my starting 11 for defenders, I have Verbruggen, Hall, Trent, and Gabriel. Now, I'm not too worried about the fixtures that I have here. Like Verbruggen against Nottingham Forest. Forest technically are, as we've seen historically this season, are a pretty good side, but they just lost 5-0 to Bournemouth. Will they kind of bounce back against Brighton? I think Brighton could stand a decent enough chance of keeping a clean sheet there. I'll take my chances as compared to Flecken, for example, who has Tottenham on the bench. So starting Verbruggen here, Hall, Trent, and Gabriel, definitely starting Hall and Trent. But as for Gabriel against Man City at home, is there a chance that I could start someone like Greaves against Southampton instead of him? Now, this would take a lot, and I think I haven't fully settled on being comfortable benching someone like Gabriel who's playing at home, despite it being against Man City. I think Man City are playing pretty well right now. They're having a bit of a resurgence, but I also back the Arsenal defense to hold them to maybe a 0-0 draw is what I could see, but we'll see what happens. So that's my defensive dilemma that I have. In terms of midfielders, I also have another dilemma because Rodgers, Mbeumo, Salah, and Palmer, all of them great fixtures, especially Mbeumo against Tottenham at home. He's someone that a lot of people are transferring in right now because we know how poorly Tottenham are defending, right? So I think for me, the midfield conundrum that I have is how to fit Ahmad in. Do I drop one of the midfielders? Do I drop someone like Rodgers down to the bench to fit Ahmad in against Crystal Palace? Or do I drop someone up front like Mateta or Wissa down to the bench? It's pretty tricky to fit Ahmad in, and I'm not fully comfortable to bench Ahmad against Crystal Palace at home. So this is a decision that I probably will take a little bit more time, and maybe on the deadline stream tomorrow, I will make a final decision. I mean, I have to, but for now, I have him on the bench and I'm choosing to start Rodgers ahead of him. I'm also choosing to start Mateta and Wissa ahead of Ahmad, but that could very well change. Up front, it's Isak, Wissa, and Mateta. Now, Isak, definitely starting him against Fulham. I actually do back him to continue going on a very good run of form. It's Wissa here that is my differential, and when I compare someone like Wissa against Tottenham, who I think he's going to do pretty well, versus someone like Ahmad against Crystal Palace, do I think the ceiling for Wissa is higher than Ahmad? I do think so. And that's why I have Wissa here. And he was a player that I transferred in gameweek 23 instead of Cody Gakpo to firstly free up that third Liverpool spot for Arne Slot in 24, but also because I back him for this Tottenham fixture. So if I don't follow through and I don't start Wissa against this Tottenham fixture, I pretty much not be sticking to the plan that I already had. So I'm happy enough to go with Wissa here. The only issue with Wissa is that the transfer window is not closed. So initially there were bids for Yohan Wissa by Nottingham Forest, but it was pretty low. The bid they were making was around 20 million. So that's pretty much a joke, mate. You're not getting Yohan Wissa for 20 million. But now there have been more serious interest from him from other Premier League sides like Spurs. So it will go down to the deadline as to whether Yohan Wissa stays with Brentford, but my expectation is he does, because I think right now Spurs are more interested in going for another player in Matthias Tel. So I do think like Wissa is going to stay in Brentford, in which case he'll get this Tottenham game. Hopefully the transfer situation doesn't weigh on him too much and he does well in this Tottenham game. If not, beside him is Mateta, Manchester United away. I'm choosing to start him for now ahead of Ahmad because of penalty reasons. Mateta, you would think, is still the first choice penalty taker. I mean, he did not take a very convincing penalty against West Ham, but it still went in. My expectation is he is still on penalties, and if that's the case, I would start him ahead of Ahmad. So that's my Game Week 24 team. And speaking of future transfers and also overall chip strategy in general, I do intend to roll my transfers in terms of outfield transfers for the next few game weeks. But as I've mentioned, I don't mind going aggressive with the assistant manager chip, making transfers on my manager if I so wish to, do table bonus matches in different game weeks. But if not, future transfers could be rolled. Aside from that, overall chip strategy after the assistant manager that I have for 24 to 26 is save the free hit in 29, navigate the blank game week in 29 with just free transfers, and then come to game week 30, I would wild card, and then after that I would free hit in game week 34, which is the biggest blank game week for the Premier League or FPL, and then after that I would bench boost in either one of 33 or 36 depending on which is the bigger double and how my team is set up for those game weeks. So roughly that is my plan. And 24, this is how I look. Captaincy is on Mo Salah. I'm not going to overthink this one. But I think for those of you guys with the triple captain chip and also the assistant manager chip, what I would say is that I don't think the triple captain chip on Mo Salah is absolutely essential. Like, yes, I know you don't have many double game weeks left, but I've also entertained the idea of those on triple captain saving it for later game weeks down the line. Future doubles will be 33 or 36. You could still use your triple captain then, and instead use the assistant manager now in game week 24. So it's not, a straightforward strategy where if you have the triple captain, you must use it now. I think you could play around with different permutations, and my preference would actually be to use the assistant manager chip now in 24 and then triple captain later down the line when Liverpool have better doubles. You could use it on Mo Salah. In 36, you could even use it on Erling Haaland, for example. So that's my thoughts. And overall, this is how I'm setting up for Game Week 24. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video and found some use in it. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments down below. If there's any players I haven't covered, drop it in the comments and I'll answer your comment. If not, I'm always here on the Deadline stream 3 hours before the deadline, and I'll catch you there very, very soon. Bye-bye.